We have too many faces. This is very much a turnabout with far too many faces. So nothing suspicious happened here, right? Well, like nothing suspicious including the alarm going off that would signify that the mask is being taken.
Objection!
Nothing? Nothing strange at all. Not even the alarm that would have been triggered while the mask was being stolen? I knew you'd ask about that. If this is the reason you wish to extend this cross-examination, you should have said so earlier and saved yourself some time. Yeah? Fraulein Starr never heard the alarm because the alarm never went off. The alarm never went off because, well, the prosecution intends for the next witness to elaborate on that. Okay. Day 2. Well, that's what you called me out here to talk about. I mean, I don't know. I figured you should know. It's freaky, right? Oh, I don't know. I've known a boy or two who'd write something like this. Basically call me a creep and walk away, but casually mention you dated a few? Hey, I'm messing with you. This is a good find. Well, much more fine, given the culprit left it for us. You don't want to begin thinking why he'd do that. If I can think of a reason or two. It's about the things in here. Accurate to an extent. I do work for the Van Dyne Museum as a security guard. Most of this stuff is silly, though. The golden mask? To tell you the truth, I don't know if the museum even has something like that. I notice when stuff is missing, not what the stuff actually is, you know? I don't know who would even bother with stealing art these days. There's been a pretty big crackdown on art theft as of late. Word is that most of those so-called gentlemen thieves are starting to pack it up. So I don't know if I can really take any of what's written here seriously. All that said, the details of the security measures are pretty much spot on. Whoever wrote it must have worked at the museum at some point. What's with the guilty-looking face? Last time, that's just my face! Guess you must be hiding things all the time. Huh? Come on, I'm not hiding anything. I just told you about the notebook, didn't I? Listen, my instincts are never wrong. If you've got something, it's better to just share it. You can trust me, okay? You're pretty. A, that's not exactly a secret. B, I don't understand why you phrased it as a question. Look, it's fine. You don't have to share anything with me. Just know that trust has to be a two-way street. You don't trust me, and the result is I don't trust you. That's how it goes. But I'm not... I'll be going back to my room. Thanks for the info, really. Please don't disturb me for the rest of the day, okay? But... Great. Toodles. I just wanted to keep you in the loop. Is Vera not around? I believe she's gone off to explore the hotel. On her own? I thought the plan was for us to stick together. Well, you were the one to split off from the group, weren't you? Technically that was Star, but point taken. Truth be told, I think you might be right. Probably not in any real danger. Just can't stop thinking about this stupid notebook. A turnabout with too many faces. The culprit deliberately left this. Why? To be found. Right. Yes, I know that. How do I keep getting caught up in things like these? What do you have there? I told you I'm an artist. Granted, not the painter kind, but sketching's as good of a stress reliever as any. Lisa, is it fine if I call you Lisa? Do you ever think about memory? I said, how much it actually makes us, us. Like if you woke up one day and didn't know anything, not even your name, which parts of your personality would remain? I prefer to think of things in terms of computers. If the hard drive gets deleted, the operating system will likely go with it. If you were to, therefore, install another operating system, you would get different behavior. However, with the underlying machine, the hardware does not change. The same operating system would not necessarily give the same results on two different computers. Nature versus nurture kind of thinker, then. Perhaps. I have this friend. Well, not really a friend, but I've seen him in passing. He's run into an issue where someone he cares about is obsessed with the idea of memory. The idea that our existence is tied to our memory. The idea that killing the memory is killing the self. You know, there's this idea. That our experiences don't actually build our character. That we only learn from our mistakes. What we learn is not necessarily good or bad. We just learn how to cover the bad aspects of our personality. Bury it deep, deep below. The more experiences, the more memories. The more memories, the deeper your original self is buried. Until eventually you're not yourself. Until someone else has taken over your body, and you don't even realize it. Kill the memory. Kill this other you. Kill the other you. Free your original self. This is how someone my friend knows thinks. You want to be unborn, in a sense. Notebook reminded me of him, so I'm just thinking out loud, that's all. I think it is a pretty grim way to live. I agree. There's a reason you bury yourself. Honestly, though, I don't believe the premise. I don't think people can change. And memories don't make us, they just haunt us. See, me, the way I see it, it's the other way around. Our operating system never changes. Someone's changing our hardware without our input, and we need to try and function in spite of it. We are who we are. The reason you end up getting stuck like my friend's friend is because you freeze up whenever it's time to see yourself. Mind you, I'm not saying I'm any better. I always ask myself, how have I done for myself? Well, horribly? Just okay? What kind of person am I? I always find myself answering the same way. Dare I ask? Alive for now, but as good as dead. Are you the friend of a friend? You just don't remember it? Sorry, I got carried away. I tend to inject a lot of myself into the conversation without thinking. It's not a good quality. I'm not really working enough on changing it. Philosophical discussions, I'm afraid, are not a strong suit of mine. Well, I've wasted your time. Only fair you waste mine. You are not very skilled at conversations, I observe. I can be sometimes. I'd actually wanted to discuss something with you related to that notebook. Oh? I am unsure how important it is, but since you have been rather candid with me, I believe it would be wrong to keep this to myself. The place mentioned here, the Van Dyne Museum. They are a client of my company, Blue Locks Inc. Our first, in fact, since I began the venture. Oh, interesting. What do you guys do? Thank you for the query. Blue Locks Inc. is looking to be the new face of modern security. Our team of engineers is always growing, just like the technology we use. Make the thieves blue with envy. And that is our slogan. Green. Pardon? Isn't it green with envy? Wow, I am getting some cache data from my meeting with our head of marketing. Former head of marketing. Well, if it's not thieves, it's our competitors. What's really the big deal? Good is good. We are the best. In fact, that is partially why the notion of the theft as outlined in there is so laughable. In an actual real-life scenario, the pressure alarm on the mask would never not go off. If it ever did, you can rest assured it's because of a museum employee, not us. Technology is good. In fact, I myself personally install and maintain the security at Van Dyne. So you're the next witness, then. Which is not because we are understaffed. We are always growing, just like the technologies you work with, right? See, you get it. I told that marketing director people would get it. Who's laughing now, Jenna? In any case, now you know. And if you happen to know anyone in need of a security system, I'll let them know. Actually, just let us know. We're going to try and cultivate a first-class clients-only kind of image. Very popular in the valley right now. The Valley is just our little slang for Silicon Valley. Don't worry too much about it. You mean Silicon Valley, not silicone? Please just pass along potential clients if you come across them. I'll keep it in mind, yeah. Well, that's what, 2 people now connected with the museum? That can't be a coincidence, right? I would disagree. Coincidences are inevitable. Unless, of course, you are saying you are connected to it somehow. I'm not. Was the voucher selection random? Is there some other kind of connection between us? Decent question to ponder. Back to the case. Nope, back to Vera. Looks like the snow isn't letting up, huh? So, given the sketchbook, I take it you're somewhat of an artist, too? Any particular thoughts on the gold mask? Frankly, I'd never heard of it, but... Good talk. What? Lovely weather indeed. Can't see a thing. This is someone different. Father once said that the secret of life usually hides in things we're not supposed to have. So who is this, then? That's what makes it such a well-kept secret. It's also what drives thieves who aren't in it for petty greed. Father. Oh, that's creepy. Before the mask was the thief. Before the thief was something more. It's in the air. Sometimes you can hear it come through the late-night radio. That picture kind of looked like, Sometimes you just know it's there. It isn't evil, and it isn't good. It just is. It watches. And because it watches, you get to exist. The thief is made, and he gets a mask to hide his face with. And the thief turns into a thief because he hopes he wasn't meant to be a thief. Each grand heist becomes an act of digging. Dig, dig, dig for the secret of life. Who hides in the radio waves? Nobody, of course. Did that actually mean anything? Nobody. Of course. Afraid I don't know anything about the mask. Given the legend portion of it, I'd think there was some kind of curse tied to it. Everyone who owns it gets killed after 3 months or something. A haunted mask. Father would have said, things like that are why we stick to painting, Vera. Haunted paintings are only a thing in the movies. Well, in this case, it only sucked for whoever actually stole it. I mean, if anyone actually stole it. Last night, did you hear anything? Hear anything? Like... shouting. You heard shouting. It was closer to a scream. A man's, I think. A man's? Scream? That's new. I've checked up on everyone, so maybe someone just likes screaming at night? And screams like a man? That doesn't quite add up, does it? I didn't pick up on anything weird. If someone here knows about it, they're repressing it bad. I don't really understand how the culprit intends for all this to play out after we get released. The hot question is if we get released. Whoever the culprit is, something will end up pointing back to them, right? What will the staff say when questioned on all this? Man, my head's killing me. I'm pushing myself. Okay, deep breaths and all. What exactly am I planning to do here? Last time was good. I think I rested well enough. My mind drifts like that. Is she still present somehow? Is she present right now? Hello? Anybody there? Of course not. There's nobody in the radio waves, right? I should change my shoes. There's only so much discomfort I can take. What them exactly makes Star think I'm some sort of a psycho, I wonder. So just a pair of... A pair of what? Just me? Or is that? Please, no. This was definitely not here yesterday. It's fairly dried. Best guess is that this is something to do with the scream Vera heard. Whoever it belongs to, there's too much of it. Someone died here. Question is, who? Are you okay? You've been quiet for some time now. You're looking a bit pale as well. No, yeah, everything's fine. The victim can't be any of the four of us, obviously. I've seen everyone. There's someone else hiding around. What happened to the body? The cleanup was pretty rushed. They basically just threw the carpet over the entire thing. Whatever hiding spot was picked must have been on short notice, too. Might be able to find it. The question now is whether the culprit is our fiend or someone else. If it's the latter, does the fiend really intend to enforce the rule? Should we read it? Huh? What? I knew you were not listening. Weirdo. I was! Casual, just keep your mouth shut for the time being. For someone who has been so captivated by the first notebook, you do not seem terribly interested in the second one. Huh? Oh! You found a second one! See? You weren't listening. It appears to be identical to the first one in design. Really haven't read it yet. I'll do it. Let's see. Turnabout with Too Many Faces, Part 2. Wow, whoever came up with this was crazy original, wasn't he? Yep, back to trial we go. Second witness. Apologies for the wait, everyone. We understand the frantic nature of this trial made your summons here sudden. Please don't hold it against us, yeah? Working in IT makes one no stranger to heading out in the middle of the night. As a result, I've optimized my body to function on only 4 hours of sleep if need be. There should be no problem, provided I can get to sleep by 4. How quickly you can go will depend on your statement and Air Ride's tenacity. My advice is to give the perfect performance the first time around. There is no such thing as a bug-free system, but I dare say that I've achieved 98% test coverage on my testimony. In that case, let's rock, shall we? Your name and occupation? Lisa Basil, CEO of Blue Locks Inc. Our company is in charge of the security at the Van Dyne Museum. We sincerely apologize for this situation. The reason you have been called here is because the alarm in the mask's protective case failed to activate. You're responsible for installing said alarm. Yes. I had also personally performed maintenance on it a few hours before the incident. Why did it fail then? Let's find out, shall we? The stage is yours, Fraulein Basil. Go to the machine. The pressure plates of the display cases transmit data to a server in Van Dyne's own security room. Blue Lock is connected to said server, allowing us to remotely track the system status. As an additional measure, I installed a hidden camera to capture all who enter the security room. And at a time where only the defendant and Mrs. Starr were in the museum, this person entered. Just moments after this image was taken, we got an alert that the system was down. This was then, no doubt, the defendant entering the room to disable the security system. The server room had indeed shown signs of tampering with the security system. Saying that before I went to the exhibition hall, I took a detour and disabled it. Correct there, right. Tampering and disabled may be a light choice of words. The server was smashed up. Uh-huh. And this camera. It's a bit of a last-minute feature, so we had to go with a relatively simple setup. Normal cameras had to go off whenever the doors opened. The snapshots immediately opened, uploaded to both the Blue Lock servers and my personal computer. Now, just to be clear, at some point after I entered, this was taken. Correct again. You know, not much of a security camera if you miss seeing the person's face. It was supposed to be, okay? Someone must have nudged or something. I'm nobody on the staff ever saw anybody in these clothes, nor confessed to being this person. In other words, it must be the culprit, or culprit adjacent, yeah? In any case, Herr Judge, I hope this clears up Herr Wright's question. So it does. Court accepts this photograph into evidence. At a point where only Star and I were the only two people in the museum, the only person was captured going inside. Defense may commence its cross-examination. Is this for real? Is this certainly unique? Explain? Explain what exactly? What's a server? Herr Judge, the defense is attempting to play dumb. Your Honor, the defense is dumb. Sustained? My God, it's a fancy term for a computer. It is not just a fancy term for a computer. A server is specially designed to automatically handle and process incoming requests. It serves as a host of services such as the central brain, if you will, of our security system. As I believe has been mentioned at some point, the pressure system works based on weight. When the object's expected weight does not match the weight, a signal is sent to the server. The server, in turn, triggers an alarm. I could imagine being something like some sort of regular communication back and forth between server and sensor, whereupon, as soon as a change is detected, alarm sounds. Thank you, Miss Basil. I'm an old man, you see. Anytime. Nick, you're 33. Follow-up question. How exactly would I have known where this server was? I mean, presumably, to disable it, I would have needed to know what to disable, so... As I said, Herr Judge, the defense is merely playing dumb. Much as you would have liked, the details of our security are not exactly top secret. Museum directors obviously need to know how the system works in order to sign off on it. Their IT staff needs to know about it since the server room houses other servers. The security staff needs to know about it in order to understand the alarm procedures. Simply put, plenty of people know about it. That load opens the door for plenty possible leaks. Once again, given Herr Wright's contacts, he could have gotten the gist of it. Even if you don't know what a server is, you still don't know where to find it and how to take it out. So, is the server room on site, or is it on Blue Lock's site? I don't think we made that clear. Am I wrong, right? On at least one count. You really didn't know what a server was, did you? So, how exactly do you know something's wrong in the setup? Okay, the server has to be on site then. When you say you're connected to it, does that mean someone on your end could have disabled it remotely? Nope. All we did was periodically check to make sure it was running. We had no access to control it remotely. For any upgrades or fixes, we had to physically come down and perform maintenance. For the record, even if they could have tampered with it remotely, as Fraulein Basil herself mentioned, the server was essentially trashed. Someone had to be on site to destroy it. Doesn't seem like top-notch protection, though. The system watches over the exhibit, or watches over the system. Hidden camera. The camera sends all the photos it captures to you remotely, you said. This image then came from your computers. Sorry for asking, but how do we know it's genuine? Objection! Because the police found the actual camera in the security room. This was on it. Okay, but how do we know it wasn't, like, done the other way around? You know, someone forged this image, put it on the Blue Lock's computers, and then remotely transferred it to the camera. Okay, Nick, doesn't really work that way. Because that's really dumb. Okay, sound logic there. I'm not even sure how arguing this benefits you. Someone still had to be there at the museum to steal the mask. I don't know what's happening in my Clavier accent. Hey, you know, just spitballing. Spit internally, I would suggest. It's just called gulping. Appropriate for your situation, I would say. Witness, please tell us what your camera captured.
Hold it!
Now that could be literally anyone. Better not conveniently reveal there was a second photo that clearly shows my face.
Objection!
We've proven there were only 2 people in the museum, one of whom was innocent. I'll let you do the math here, right?
Objection!
One is maybe clear of stealing the mask, but... No, that's where your argument ends. How would someone disable a security system if they didn't intend to steal something? Glad to see you're pondering on it. In the meantime, shall we confirm that this person did indeed disable the alarm?
Hold it!
Implying whoever entered the security room at that point disabled it. Well, yes, that would be the implication, correct? Very cool, thanks. Anything else you wanted to mention? Besides the part where you totally say I didn't. Yeah!
Hold it!
Sounds like speculation to me. Sounds like the defense has no real leg to stand on. If the charge was strictly for who disabled the alarm, you'd have nothing and you know it. Good thing the point of this testimony is to answer why the alarm didn't work. And the even better thing is that the charge is not who disabled the alarm. Of course, even if it had been, the pool of suspects is so small there's no real doubt. You sure about that? If that's your idea of causing doubt, you have to do a lot better than that. Maybe I will. Or to change of pace, I might actually know how to strike here. Question is, where do we go from here? The pool of suspects is so small, there's still too many questions. Well, whatever, one step at a time. Let's see here.
Objection!
False. Sorry to tell you this, but you've made a fatal error. Yeah. It's understandable, though. In such a traumatic situation, one's memory tends to leak. Are those programming puns? What? No, I was just saying. You know. If you hadn't made this big an error, your testimony might have been, compiled successfully. Oh, looks like you've gone quiet. Is everything okay? Do we need to reboot your desire? You genuinely deserve a penalty for that one. Gosh, I guess you could say this attempt to object halted and caught fire. I seriously need to grow a brain cell one of these days. Okay, the camera footage. I don't think this will fly, Prosecutor Gavin. Well, obviously. The photograph has no wings. After all, you... Wait, what? What is that? Look, the point is, this isn't me. I mean, the person in this photo is wearing a snazzy coat, and that's cool and all. However, in the photograph, you actually can see my face. I'm not wearing one. That's true. Finally, some progress. Probably shouldn't get overconfident, though.
Objection!
Judge, please don't let yourself get confused. The person in this photograph must be Everett. We've gone over this. The camera footage surrounding the museum clearly proves this.
Objection!
So, what's the idea? I put on a coat just for this photo shoot? Actually, there is a perfectly logical explanation. I once again remind you that the security cameras overlooking the exhibition rooms send their footage directly off-site and could not be tampered with. In other words, there was no way to disable them from the museum itself. Everett knew about the security cameras, but was not aware of this fact. Mistakenly, he believed by taking out the server, he would have disabled the cameras too. That is why he's wearing a coat while entering the server room, part of a disguise. While being careful to avoid them, he wants to make absolutely sure that he isn't seen on the cameras. First, he destroys the server, taking out the display case alarms. Then, thinking the cameras are out, he takes the disguise off and walks into the exhibition hall. Okay, where's the disguise? How is that? Dumb? Even if I thought the cameras were out, why would I take the trouble to expose my face? It would have been way better to keep the disguise on and snag the mask.
Objection!
Remember that Fraulein was patrolling the museum. If you had been by the cameras wearing a disguise, it would have probably been no harm done. After all, the chances of someone actively monitoring them at that time were fairly low. If Fraulein Starr had seen you, on the other hand, she would have immediately raised an alarm. Therefore, after taking the cameras out, it was much safer to appear casually.
Objection!
Okay, but why take the coat off? Or why not wear something that stood out less? Because if someone or something had captured a mysterious man in a coat disabling the security, you could have at least taken suspicion off yourself by looking entirely different.
Objection!
That's an idiotic plan on my part, then. I concur. Robbing a museum is an idiotic plan. Not what I meant. This plan actually makes a lot of sense, if done when the museum had a lot of visitors. Then again, with people, it would have been infinitely more difficult to identify the person here. Too bad the museum was empty. Indeed. But perhaps you'd already formed the entire plan and couldn't save it for any other day. I need to speculate. This entire argument is speculation. It's an explanation for the issue you've raised. What more can I do? Where's the coat? I think we can agree we've got as far as we can with this line of inquiry. I will agree with Mr. Wright that the prosecution's explanation is not necessarily convincing. Thank you, Judge. You are correct. However, oh no, there's a however. I will also agree that given the nature of the evidence presented so far, the defendant is still likely the person in this photograph. It's important to differentiate the facts from assumptions on what one may or may not have done. Fortunately, humans aren't perfectly rational actors. Seeing as the defense has nothing further to add on this point, I think we should return to the cross-examination. I wonder if the security card that Gavin presented.
Objection!
False.
Objection!
Nope, presented here. Given all these security measures, I think it's safe to say that the server room is staff only, right? I mean, it's not exactly a part of your typical visitor's tour. But I would say so. So if the server room is staff only, you need one of these to get in, wouldn't you? Sounds right to me. These are top-class security cards. They're disabled whenever their owner isn't supposed to be in the museum. I remember, no worries. So it's pretty safe to say they're not really that usable if you're an intruder of some kind. Pretty safe bet indeed. Cool. So how did I get into the server room again? Well, you would have just used your... Oh! You said it yourself just now. Top-class security cards. I would have needed to have one if I wanted to get into the server room. Unfortunately, at the time of the heist, the only active employee was Miss Starr. Even if I'd gotten a card from one of the other staff, it would not have worked. Therefore, the person seen entering the server room couldn't have been me. It's not impossible that you got your hands on Fraulein Starr's card sometime during the night. Afraid it is impossible, actually. You told us so yourself. Most importantly, every usage gets logged. We'll get to it at a later stage of the trial, but for the time being, the log suggests that Fraulein Starr was indeed always walking around the museum. Oops. I guess you accidentally proved she had her card on her the entire time. That's okay, though. Humans aren't perfectly rational actors. Thank you, Airbright, for reminding us all of what I said. I'd almost forgotten about it myself. That I'd planned for the logs to play a part at a later point in the trial. Consider that point officially reached. Thank you kindly for your input, Fraulein Basil. You are free to go. What if I still have more questions? Please, Airbright. We both know that this is the only thing of importance now. It may well be the thing that makes or breaks your case. Well, good luck to everyone. If you happen to know anyone who may be interested in our services, I suggest taking the downtime to improve on your system before something like this happens again. My good luck has been withdrawn for you, sir. I don't need luck, Fraulein. I need sleep. Since I can't have that, I'll have to settle for dismantling the defense's argument. How did Airbright enter that server room without a security card? The answer may be more elaborate than you expect. You shouldn't have to hear it from me, though. Prosecution calls the detective in charge of the case, Dick Gumshoe, to the stand. Gumshoe? Witness your name and occupation for the court. Dick Gumshoe, pal. Detective in the Art and Antiques Division. What? I'm the detective in charge of this case. I was the first on the scene by a considerable amount. Danke, Herr Schuh. Bitte. Taking up German, I see. The thing about art crime is that it's international, pal. Gotta be flexible. That's what Mr. Edgeworth says, at least. He also says he's very disappointed in you, pal. Can't help but agree, you know. Still, it's a new low for you. I mean, I don't know. I think that it's a step up from plain murder. Yeah, but you didn't do it any of those times. Plural. I didn't do it this time either. Oh, okay. Nah, we got you dead to rights, pal. Yeah, well, I just made a hole in your case. Huh? I just got here. Airbright believes he's made a hole. Let's set him straight, shall we, detective? Tell us about the security card Airbright used. What? Aha, you got it, sir. Since I'll probably be blowing your argument to smithereens in record time, tell Edgeworth I said hi, would you? Very disappointed. Silent Countess. One of the first things we did when we got to the scene was to check the security card logs. One for the server room shows someone using a seemingly unknown card. This is right around the time the photo in the server room was taken. Forensics think this is someone using a forged card. The idea is that this forged card can trick the system into letting the user in despite the restrictions. We looked into the defendants to contact to see who could have made something like this. One person fitting the bill is an artist called Vera Mission. Oh, she's a well-established art forger, who's also recently enrolled as an electrical engineering student. How convenient. Currently, our studio is empty. Nobody appears to have been there in days. Beyond unusual, given that, by all accounts, Bishop's a borderline agoraphobe. Search turned up failed attempts at recreating the card, proving her involvement. Because of this, we're forced to assume that she's gone on the run. Oh. No, this doesn't make any sense. Only a few hours at most passed between making the bet with Desiree and the heist. At the time, Desiree said she didn't even have a plan in mind. In other words, this couldn't have been that premeditated. How then does Vera end up with a bunch of fake security cards? Does this mean that the person shown here has nothing to do with the Desiree and the bet? What are the chances? Did she lie to me then? Did she never actually take the Nemesis? Why? Vera, why on earth would you get yourself involved in whatever you've done? Maybe someone approached her disguised as me. Would she have really gone along, even if she thought she was helping me? Not like we were BFFs or anything. You see, Airbright appears to be deep in thought. Only with how little sense the tale you're trying to spin makes. I will admit that I find her involvement with the crime unexpected. Which is why, if you really are behind this, Airbright, I will not forgive you for taking her down this path again. All the more reason to understand I wouldn't do that. You used your own daughter to make a quick buck in poker. I have no expectations for you. On some things regarding you, I was wrong. But not all of them. I know it's funny coming from me, but maybe we should all just relax a bit? Or we should just move on to the cross-examination. Why? I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand it's important, but why was it at the top of the list? Because we saw what was on the secret cam, pal. A suspicious person entering right around the time the mask must have been stolen. It would have been silly not to check it. What did you see on the logs, Detective?
Hold it!
Not seeing any records after that one, conveniently. That would be because there aren't any of note. The entry that follows this one was Fraulein Starr opening the door for responding officers. And what exactly does this entry have to do with the intruder in this server room?
Hold it!
Maybe relevant, but I'm noticing that the photo in the server room doesn't actually have a timestamp. You can confirm the times based on the time the photo was sent to Blue Lots. Well, it depends. What does right around the time mean exactly? A minute? 2? 3? About 10 seconds between the card entry and the photo being taken. Okay, but about 10 seconds can mean a lot of things. 10 seconds in how many milliseconds? About 350? Okay, but about 350 can mean... Detective, please stop giving her right any estimations. Please just tell us what this record actually means. 921. Shoot, this does actually line up with the times. So the first photo was 922.
Hold it!
How exactly do you forge a security card? The museum security system has some neat bells and whistles. But this thing's still just your old dumb magnetic strip. Anyone with a little technical know-how can make one of these if they know what they're doing. Including you. Guess so. Then you count as one of my contacts who could have forged the card. So you're admitting to the crime and outing Air Shu as your accomplice. No, just making a point that the police shouldn't zero in on one person. I'm glad you acknowledge you know plenty of people who could have forged the card for you. Not what I said. Just strongly implied, right? Let's just strike all this from the record, okay? You're well aware that's not how it works, Mr. Wright. A man can dream, right? How about Air Shu tells us about what this forged card actually does?
Hold it!
Not much of a security system then, is it? I have to agree with you there, pal. Well, the whole let the employee in only on their shift is a good concept. At the end of the day, all it does is look up the value on the magnetic strip. The value matches a row on a table, the door watches an employee, the employee has a time slot. The current times within the time slot, the door opens, otherwise the swipe is rejected. Whoever forged the card didn't know is how the logs worked. What gets stored is the value on the card strip being looked up in the database. There's a second line of values, which is the AES 256 encrypted name of the owner. The second line is encrypted and written in the logs at the time of swiping the card. The forger only made sure the first line was correct. He filled the second line with random characters. When it was decrypted, the whole nonsense turned into more nonsense. So if the employee's name is encrypted into the card, I mean, that's kind of a silly explanation, but resulting in this. Any questions? That's the most intelligent thing Dick Gumshoe has ever said. No. Because realistically, I mean, this is only based on my experience with security systems, not nearly as high class as this might be. I could see this being possible, but to a degree pointless. If you encrypt the person's name into the card, it doesn't really do much. All clear here. Yep, all good. Maybe we should just focus on who could have made this thing. I mean, realistically, I could see the silly way of going about this being just, like, if you're describing the lookup value as, value on the card, looks up an employee by their ID, and then links that to their timesheet, and if they're scheduled to be here, it lets them in, otherwise it doesn't. Really, if you pass that along, you could just pretend it's like a SQL injection attack or something. It's just encrypted nonsense, I think was good old and 1 equals 1 to make the database lookup just return true. Alright, contacts. And it feels like you didn't look at it too hard. I mean, you guys do know I've got a daughter that deals with tricks and gadgets, right? I assure you, she was on top of our list. However, the suspect we ultimately found had actual evidence pointing to them. Search for your own residence, on the other hand, brought up nothing against Fraulein Wright. Well, at least that's something. Losing Fraulein has not graced us with her presence here. She's got school tomorrow, and she knows better than to stay up. And the poker games you had to participate in were early in the evening, then? Not in the mood for this, let's just move on. Now list the suspects and you narrowed it down. To who? Right, she's an artist, not a security card duplicator. She would want to give Air Shu a chance to outline her qualifications. I still resent the idea that I would have ever dragged the poor girl into something like this. Resentment noted. Actual rebuttal still pending. Air Shu, what exactly made Fraulein Mishima a suspect? Electrical engineering? Bit of an odd choice. If she were to ever cease her criminal behavior, it would be difficult to make ends meet. As talented as she may or may not be, the art world is, well, let's not get into it here. The point is she decided to turn her life for the better. At least that is what an outside looker would have believed. But also given her the know-how on how to make something like this. You don't just start a semester in electrical engineering and suddenly become one. And it gives you the required background to understand the concepts. The rest you can look up online. Still, you're right. That alone didn't cause to consider her a definitive accomplice. Which is why you decided to pay her a visit, didn't you, Air Shu? How could you tell? Mail piled up at the door, pal. It's a classic. Doesn't really prove anything, you know. Mishima is also an active member of several online communities. Looking at her activity, she hasn't been online in days. Add to that the fact that she isn't picking up any of our calls, and I would say she's avoiding us, wouldn't you? Well, more so than usual, huh? How odd is it for her to not be at her studio, Detective? Even so, that on its own isn't really proof of anything. She could have gone up for a vacation or something. She could have been given a very convenient vacation voucher to a hotel in the mountains. Yes, it wouldn't be proof of anything by itself. But that's where Air Shu's search of the place comes in. That's an eerie picture. That's... Look, are you sure this isn't just some kind of misunderstanding? Are you sure these failed attempts are really for the museum card? Sorry, pal, no two ways about it. They've all got the museum logo on them and everything. But for them to have been failed attempts implies that someone at some point tried them on the security system, right? Well, they weren't really failed attempts in terms of functionality as much as... Look, pal. I'd say Miss Bishop is a bit of a perfectionist. Makes sense given her background, yeah? Either way, pal, there's no doubt she was involved. I mean, the cards prove it, don't they?
Hold it!
Why would she have gone on the run supposedly days before the heist? A safety measure, I would imagine. If you got caught in the steps of your plan where you untangled, sooner or later this card would have pointed straight back to her. There. What have you gotten yourself into? What have I gotten myself into, exactly? There must be something here that can get her out of this. Oh no, Larry works here. I just saw the name up there. What do we know about this? One thing I just noticed, I got a cardboard badge. Found this in my pocket. No clue where I got it. Given how crude it looks, I probably made it myself, right? $921.58. Let's try this. Not that. I object to this testimony on the grounds of common sense. Gum should be real here. I wouldn't do this. Well, I don't even know her. Well, I mean, I told you about her. And that she used the Mason system and everything, too. Oh yeah, I never got too far into playing your weird facts. Excuse you, that actually happened to me. Made me look like a total doofus, pal. It was based on real court transcripts. Yeah, well, if I knew how to read, I'd check that now, wouldn't I? What? Look, pal, I don't know where a mission, but I didn't play your indie game. Objection overruled. Okay, but can he talk about the fact that he just admitted he can't read? We have the camera footage with the timestamps on. Okay, there we go. Enough is enough. Time and time again, I keep trying to tell you there were two people in the museum. Time and time again, you refuse to listen. I don't know what Vera's role in this is, if she even has one. I know I'm innocent, and guess what? We've just proven it. This person here, it's the same as the person here, you say. What was it you said, Prosecutor Gavin? The person in the server room is culprit or culprit adjacent? I agree with you. Now you have to agree with me that I can't possibly be this person. After all, right at this very moment, I was at the exhibition supposedly stealing the mask.
Objection!
I'm not sure I would call it at this very moment.
Objection!
Come on, you're better than this. Are you seriously going to suggest that in less than a minute, got into the server room, found the right server, destroyed it, ditched whatever coat I was wearing here, ran down to the exhibition floor, all without supposedly being in the museum before, all without making any noise that would have alerted Miss Starr? Good. Glad we're in agreement. I couldn't have been the one to disable the security system. It means there's only one person who could have actually been in this photo. Angel?
Take that!
That's the only possibility, right? Must have been Miss Starr.
Objection!
Are you're accusing Miss Star, then? Do I have a choice here? Because, if you are, I would very much like you to explain how she made the mask vanish into thin air. Remember, she and the museum was searched when the police arrived. The only person who could have gotten the mask out is you. There's a way. There's a way she could have made the mask disappear. You're bluffing. If there had been a way, you would have suggested it long before. Maybe I thought of it just now. Crap, crap, I've got to think what I say this. Crap, crap, crap! Look, whatever. The only way out is through, right? Has anything changed? Is there really no way for Star to have hidden the mask? We do know something new. There must be something I can suggest. Anything. I don't know what's going on here, but this stupid photo proves she was involved on some level. We're all ears, Mr. Right. When Mr. Star make the mask disappear from the museum, the first person on the scene was...
Take that!
This is how she made the mask disappear, Your Honor. Just as suspected, a total bluff. Wait a minute. Oh? Why did I just say that? Because it makes sense. Given her history in law enforcement, you can't eliminate a policeman accomplice. Ah, this is Gumshoe. Okay, and? The important thing here is to stay afloat, isn't it? Oh, I just realized that the light blue voice and the dark blue voice are like conflicting inner thoughts. The way I see it, there's more important things to worry about. For example, the fact that all 3 people in the hotel are connected to this trial in the end. Oh, dark blue what? Wait, where? What hotel? What are you talking about? Wait, what? What am I talking about? Okay, what's going on here? This wasn't my voice. But I've been hearing it this entire time. Hello? Hello? I know you're there. Mr. Wright? Val? I mean, you yourself said you were the first on the scene, right? Miss Star has, ties to the police department, so it's not, impossible that... Val? In the words you're saying, the 2 had planned the heist together. Their shoe was the first to get to the scene. And the mask was immediately passed to him, explaining why it wasn't found in any of the searches or on Star's person. That's not what happened, pal. There's, there may be more. Those failed attempts at making the Ford security guard. Those were all found by you, right, Gumshoe? We consider you as a suspect. Even that evidence comes into question. This comes as quite a serious accusation, Mr. Wright. It would be quite convenient to plant this. And Vera's, It really wasn't me, pal. You want to believe me? Fine. I'll prove it to you. This has taken a turn. Wasn't me, pal. It wasn't. It might be. I don't know. We'll find out next time. And at any rate, that has taken an unexpected turn. A very unexpected turn. What? Our worlds are colliding. Our 2 frame stories here are colliding. I don't know what to make of this. I do not know what to make of this. I'm quite enjoying this, but yeah, interesting. Oh gosh. Well, find out next time. Until then.